What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel, and as always, thank you all for watching. Ashley's going to be starting us off first today. She's playing Saheeli, the Sun's Brilliance. This deck is trying to make copies of her artifacts and creatures and take advantage of enter the battlefield triggers and get problematic creatures on the board to do very cool and effective things. Next, Cypher is playing General Tazri. It's an ally typo deck. I like to think about allies as if they're slivers, but created in a more fair way. The deck can still snowball out of control and it can get crazy as all hell. Will is playing Xyris, the Writhing Storm. This is not a group slug deck or a hey I hit you and draw cards. This is a clone deck. Don't let Will fool you. He's trying to make clones of things he should not be making clones of. Then next me, I'm going last today. I'll be playing Volo, Guide to Monsters. The deck doesn't have any creature types that share in the entire deck. So whenever I play a creature with Volo out, I'll get a copy of that creature. So you have a bunch of decks trying to flood the board, make copies. The game's gonna be great. Let's get into the gameplay.
Ashley starts with the Temple of Epiphany. She'll scry to the top and pass the turn. Cypher plays a Temple Garden tapped, deciding not to shock it in. Will plays a Rockfall Veil, tapped and pass. I'm going to play a Dreamroot Cascade and pass. Ash plays Command Tower, then she'll cast Izzet Signet. Cypher plays Godless Shrine, then he'll pass a turn. Will plays a Stomping Ground as a land drop. Then he'll cast Sylvan Library and pass to me. I'll play a Forest, then I'll cast Rampant Growth. I'll fetch a basic Forest to play, then I'll pass the turn. Ashley plays a Reliquary Tower, then she casts Lightning Greaves. After that, she'll cast her commander Saheeli, the Sun's Brilliance, which lets her tap Izzet mana and Saheeli to make token copies of her artifacts and creatures. She'll equip the Lightning Greaves to her commander. Move into combat, she'll attack me for 2 commander damage. Cypher shocks in a Watery Grave and casts Growing Rites of Vitlamok. He looks at the top 4 cards and doesn't hit a creature, he'll pass it from there. Will keeps all 3 cards from Sylvan Library, taking 8 damage. He'll play an island, then cast his own Lightning Greaves before passing the turn. I'll play an island, then cast my commander, Volo, Guide to Monsters. Whenever I cast a creature spell that doesn't share creature type with a creature I control or a creature in my graveyard, I get to make a copy of it. I'll pass from there. Ashley plays an island, then she casts Sky Scanner and draws a card on ETB. Using her commander, she makes a hasted copy of Sky Scanner, drawing another card. She'll move to combat, sending Sky Scanner at Cypher and pass the turn.
And if you made it this far, go ahead and do that YouTube stuff down below.
Cypher plays a Sea of Clouds, then he casts Veteran War Leader. Its power and toughness are equal to the amount of creatures he controls, and he can tap an ally to give it First Strike, Vigilance, or Trample until end of turn. He'll pass his turn from there. Will takes 4 from Sylvan Library, putting 1 card back on top. Then he'll cast Tireless Tracker and play Spire Garden right after that. That triggers Tireless Tracker and he creates a clue token. He'll equip the Lightning Greaves to Tireless Tracker and pass the turn to me. I'll play an island, then I'll cast Wandering Archaic, so whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, I get a copy of it. Thanks to Volo's ability, I'll get a copy of that. Moving to combat, I'll send my commander at Ashley for 3 damage. Ashley plays Exotic Orchard, then she casts Delina Wild Mage. When Delina attacks, Ashley rolls a d20 and makes a copy token of a creature she controls tapped and attacking if she rolls a 1 through 14. But if she rolls higher, she makes a token and rolls again. She moves Lightning Greaves over to Delina. She'll move to combat and sends Delina at Cypher. She'll roll a d20 and get a 13. She'll make a token copy of Sky Scanner, attacking me for 1 in the air and drawing another card on ETB. We'll both take our damage, and the Sky Scanner is exiled after combat. She'll pass the turn from there. Cypher plays a Sulphur Springs, then casts Reflections of Littjara, choosing ally. So whenever he casts an ally, he gets another ally. Will plays Otawara Soaring City, triggering Tyler's Tracker, making a clue, and passing to me. I play Athletic Grove and move to my end step, where Ashley activates Saheeli again, making a copy of Sky Scanner and drawing a card on ETB. Ashley plays a Mountain, then casts Goldspan Dragon. It has haste, and when it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, it creates a treasure token. It also makes treasures tap for 2 mana. Moving to combat, she sends the dragon at me and Delina at Cypher with no blocks. Delina triggers, she'll roll a 1 this time, making another copy of Goldspan Dragon, also attacking me. The original Goldspan makes her a treasure on attack. Ash passes the turn from there, exiling the token after combat. Cypher plays a Mountain, then he casts Agadeem Occultist. He can tap it to put a creature card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under his control if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of allies he controls. He'll get another thanks to Reflections of Littjara. Then he casts Makindi Patrol, giving his allies vigilance whenever an ally ETBs. Reflections trigger again, and he gets another. Moving to combat, he taps both Agadeem Occultists to give Veteran War Leader first strike and trample. Then he'll attack Ashley for 5 damage with no blocks. When he moves to his end step, Will sacrifices both clues to draw himself 2 cards, and because Cypher has 4 or more creatures, Roaring Rat of Vitlamak will trigger and it'll flip. Will plays an island and makes a clue. Then he casts Witty Roastmaster. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under his control, Witty Roastmaster deals 1 damage to each opponent. He moves to his end step, and I'll cast Hollow Hinge Overlord. It has flash, and at the beginning of my upkeep, for each wolf I control, I create a 2/2 wolf token. Thanks to Volo, I'll get 2. On my upkeep, I'll get 2 wolves from the first trigger and 4 wolves from the second trigger. I'll play a forest and cast Silverback Elder. Whenever I cast a creature spell, I can destroy an artifact or enchantment, look at the top 5 cards of my library, and put a land on the battlefield from the top 5. Or I can gain 4 life. Again, thanks to Volo, I'll get 2. Then I'll cast Lightning Greaves and equip them to Volo. Changing my mind, I decide to equip the Lightning Greaves to my Silverback Elder. Then I'll move to combat, sending Silverback Elder and 2 wolves at Ashley. She taps her commander and makes a copy of Sky Scanner, drawing a card on ETB. She'll block the Silverback and one of my wolves, taking 4 damage at the end. I move the Greaves back over to my commander and pass the turn. Ashley casts Karlach, Fury of Avernus, so whenever she attacks, if it's her first combat phase of the turn, she can untap all attacking creatures, they gain first strike, and she gets another combat phase. Then she casts El Toro Survivors. They have Myriad, and as long as they're attacking, they get +X/+0, where X is the number of lands defending player controls. Moving to combat, the Goldspan Dragon attacks me, the Survivors attack Will, and Delina attacks Will. The dragon makes a treasure. Delina rolls a 3, giving her a copy of El Toro Survivors, also attacking Will. Meanwhile, the original Survivors will create tokens attacking me and Cypher from Myriad. Cypher taps Makindi Patrol to give Veteran War Leader first strike and block Delina, taking 6 damage. Will cracks a clue, making Tireless Tracker a 6/5 and blocking 1 Eternal Survivors with it, and the other with Witty Roastmaster, taking 4 damage. I'll block an Eternal Survivor with my Silverback Elder, and I take 4 flying damage. The tokens are exiled at the end of combat, and everything besides Goldspan Dragon is killed in combat. Ashley starts her second combat by making a copy of Goldspan Dragon with her commander. She sends one at me and the other one at Will for 4 damage apiece. This attack triggers both Goldspan Dragons, so she'll get another 2 treasures. Lastly, she'll cast Ortheon, Hero of Lavenbrink. It makes copies and does a lot more, so feel free to pause it to read. She'll pass her turn from there. Cypher plays a Caves of Koilos, then he taps Agadim Occultist to put Will's Witty Roastmaster onto his battlefield. He'll tap the other Occultist to do the same, but with Ashley's Delina. From there, he casts Tajuru Warcaller, which gives all of his creatures +2/+2 whenever an ally ETBs. Reflections again gives him 2, so his creatures are getting +6/+6. After that, he'll cast his commander, General Tazri, which lets him search for an ally on ETB, but because he has 2 of them, he'll get it twice. He tutors for Chasm Guide and Andu Champion. His creatures, because both of his commanders ETB'd, are now +14/+14. He'll tap a creature to give Veteran War Leader Trample. Moving to combat, he'll send enough damage at Ashley and Will to take them both out of the game. On his second main phase, he casts Teferi Protection and pass it to me. On my upkeep, I'll get 24 wolves from Hollowhenge Overlord. I don't draw into anything helpful, so I pass it to Cypher. Cypher casts Andu Champion, giving all his allies Trample and +8/+8. Then he'll cast Chasm Guide, giving all his allies another +8/+8. I can't block all of this damage with Trample, so Cypher takes the game.